Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new show, Soccer Showdown. I'm joined by Michael Holzer. He'll be here with me every single week as we break down everything in the world of soccer. But I just thought for the first week, we've got to kind of get to know each other a little bit. So, Mike, I got a lot of questions for you, but let's start it off. Obviously, just give us the little story about you, where you're from, how you made it over here. Give us the little rundown.
Yeah, my name is Michael. I'm originally from Germany. I was born and raised there. I'm 21 years. I've been living there 21 years. I've been playing soccer since I was since I've been 4 years old. And yeah, and why I came to America was because of a soccer scholarship. My friend who played for UNC Greensboro was like telling me how awesome America is, how awesome the system is with combining soccer and university together being a student athlete, so I made my decision to transfer to UNC Greensboro, and then after 2 years, I wanted to go to New York City, and then I decided to transfer to Iona College.
And it sounds like things have gone pretty well for you. Obviously, you've been such an important part of the Iona soccer team. You were captain. Last year, you and Ignacio were such a big tandem together. What would you say is the biggest thing that you learned from your experience playing with the Iona Gale soccer?
With the Iona Girls Soccer, I learned that a team has to be a family because if you're not friends all together, you can't have success. And I can have a very good comparison because in my old college, there were a lot of arguments and people didn't like each other, and there was no success. But like here at Iona, both years we were like second place and third place. We always made the playoffs. So yeah, there was always like kind of a winning streak.
Winning is the most important thing. It solves a lot of problems. It cures everything, really. And it's interesting because we were talking a little bit before the show and how about your position. And I think for a lot of people, midfield is just the most important position you could play on the field. And especially for a guy like you playing defensive midfield, what would you say to people is the hardest challenge of playing that position? Kind of, do you feel like sometimes it's not the flashiest thing that people don't always give you the attention you deserve because of it?
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing almost every position in my soccer life. I've played winger, I've been playing attacking midfielder, defensive midfielder, outside back, and I definitely have to say that I think that playing the defensive midfield role is the hardest position at all because you always are under pressure. You always have a man behind you. It all depends on you if the team goes in the right direction because you are the one who has to start the counters or the attack. So playing defensive mid is, in my opinion, the hardest position, and I think it should be more recognized in the world. But I think it's starting getting bigger because Pep Guardiola is saying that the better players they always come back from year to year. So because Xavi was like a forward, and Iniesta was a forward too, and now they're playing both defensive mid.
Let's talk about our man Pep Guardiola for a minute, though, because we were talking again before, and one of my questions is, what's your favorite club in the world? And your answer was,
Bayern Munich,
of course,
of course.
Bayern Munich. Now, we look at Pep, and what Pep did at FC Barcelona, just he brought them a level of success that they hadn't had, and just really reined them into such a good era of just winning and winning all the time. Messi seemed happier with him than he's been with another manager in a long time. When you look at Pep, what sets him apart from everyone else? We all look at Jose Mourinho, how good he is, but I put Pep right there with Jose.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's his philosophy. His philosophy is always attacking orientated, and he wants players who are good in touching the ball, and he wants to control the game. He doesn't want to defend or sit back. He just wants to always make the game and wants to possess and wants to. That's why I think it's the best coach in the world.
I'm with you. Pep is just outstanding. Now, we kind of got away for a little bit, but I want to ask you, kind of coming from Germany, U.S. in the soccer, it's obviously a lot different. It's definitely nowhere near as popular, but it's getting there. It's definitely gotten a lot bigger in terms of viewership, in terms of interest. For you, what was the biggest thing that really hit you in terms of the popularity of the game when you came from Germany to America?
I mean, soccer grew in America, but it's not half as big as in Europe.
Oh yeah.
Like in Germany, for example, no one cares about other sports. It's only soccer. Everyone watches soccer. Everyone is on Saturdays on their TVs, and there's nothing really else. In America, it's more about basketball, baseball, football, and then maybe soccer comes. So I think it's a big difference here with both countries, but especially after the World Cup, I see like kind of a boom in soccer. More players start, more people like in the childhood start playing soccer. And just imagine if all these athletes America has, if they would play soccer instead of baseball or football, USA could be a soccer powerhouse.
And see, that's really interesting because, like you just said, where you noticed it, and I'm glad you said that there's more interest after the World Cup. That's really what we're seeing in terms of ratings. After each World Cup, interest in viewership of soccer in this country goes up dramatically. So I think by the time the next World Cup rolls around, the viewership is going to get even better. I mean, when we look at Fox and we look at ESPN, they're paying lots of money for these soccer deals with all these networks. So the interest is there. It's definitely growing. And obviously, you must have been very happy this summer with Germany winning in the World Cup. Were you
Definitely.
in Germany when they won it?
No, unfortunately, I was in America.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a good feeling. I was walking around New York City with my Germany jersey, and I was very happy. The Empire State Building had the German colors, and I was watching with my girlfriend. But yeah, in Germany, it was a it was a party. Like, from doesn't matter where you were, everyone was celebrating because we were the champions of the world. And last time we were champions of the world was 1990, and it was a long time ago. It was the year I was born.
Wow. You just can't. I mean, that's the thing that I think really is what attracts people to the sport is when you see how much it means to people, when you just hear the sounds of the World Cup and you watch the passion and the emotion on people's faces. There's nothing that can compare to it in all of sports. There really is not.
Yeah.
But let's get on to the next question, though. Now, the next one I wanted to ask you is the MLS. Obviously, the MLS is for what a lot of Americans consider the basic soccer starter kit. What's the perception? I mean, when you were back in Germany, what's the perception over in Europe about American soccer, what we have with the MLS?
To be honest, before I was coming to America, I honestly underestimated the level of American soccer. I thought like I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna lie on my couch, and I'm gonna be the best player. But he has a lot of good players, especially in college. But the MLS is also getting bigger and bigger. They get now big names, not like David Villa, Frank Lampard, Steven Gerrard.
Steven Gerrard, yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of good players in the future, and I think with David Beckham in Miami, it's gonna grow another big team in the US. And his plan is to buy Ronaldo in like 3 years. So if that would happen, the MLS would be even getting bigger. But I really think the MLS is a good league, and I would compare it, for example, to Germany, maybe to top second division level.
Very interesting. And I think that's the cool thing is we're seeing now, like you mentioned, at New York City FC, David Beckham's bringing a team to Miami. We have an Orlando team there now. The league is expanding, and we see that the number of seats being sold in these stadiums, this league is in very good success. And I think the icing on the cake now is you have the commitments from the big guys. Steven Gerrard is coming here. Frank Lampard is coming here. That was a whole little story. The New York City FC fans aren't too happy about having to wait a while for that. But the Manchester City is in a Premier League title race, so I give them a little slack on that one. But it's interesting. I think the league right now is in a better spot than it's ever been in. I think the one little thing that most Americans don't consider is in Europe there's no playoffs. It's kind of who has the most points in the league, and we do in the MLS you do have the playoff format. But let's stay with the MLS for a minute. Let's go to Ignacio. Ignacio, we all understand, drafted by the LA Galaxy. You two were obviously two of the biggest pieces for Iona's soccer team for so long. When you played with him, did you always kind of just know that he had it to get to that level?
I mean, yeah, he has an incredible talent, and he was practicing with Manchester City before he came to Iona with the first team. So yeah, everyone knew that he always had the talent. He just was a little bit too skinny, I think, or like some other things. But I think the fact that he came to America was exactly the right decision for him to get used to the physicality in the soccer world. And yeah, everyone knew that his touch and his offensive skills are like unbelievable good, and I always believed in him, and he scored a lot of goals, and he was a big impact in the Iona history. I don't think there was no player ever who got drafted from Iona, and Ignacio was the first player, and I'm really happy that he made that.
As all of it, but let's stay with you. I mean, you were talking to me a little bit. You've trained with New York City FC. What's kind of your goal going forward with your soccer career?
I mean, I have made my decision already. I either wanna play professional soccer, but if that doesn't work out, I wanna stop playing soccer because I think it's very hard, especially in America. You can't have a real job and make big money and play soccer on the side. Like it's really hard because there's no league system. It's just the MLS and then the USL and then there's nothing really, or the NASL, and it's so complicated. You don't even make a lot of money in the second or third division. It's different than in Europe. In Europe, you make a lot of money in the second or third division leagues. So I feel like if I make it pro, I will play pro. If I don't make it, I will focus on my career and my job.
Very interesting. Now, what is that job though if it's not soccer?
Yeah, I could imagine working in radio. Like,
Very cool.
I really enjoy.
You're doing a good job right
Yeah,
now.
I hope so. I mean, sometimes I still have to improve my English because I've been living here since 3 years. But I like to be on camera or I like to be on radio, and that's definitely something I would be interested in because I like to talk and I like to communicate.
I love it. I mean, would it be in soccer?
Of
Talking
course,
soccer.
of course.
Can't beat
Talking
it.
about my passion and about what I love the most would be ideal for me.
See that, and that's the great thing. I mean, I think that's my philosophy. I mean, if you enjoy, I mean, especially a game like this that means, I mean, you could just tell by our conversation how much it means to you. It's just a sport that I think unrivals anything else. Just the passion, the sights and the sounds. I mean, we're gonna get into it a little bit later, the UEFA Champions League, but I think if I was trying to get a new soccer fan, someone to appeal to soccer, I would just put on a UEFA Champions League game. When you just listen to the sounds and the sights of these matches and what it means to people, just you look at the faces of the players on the pitch, what compares to it?
Yeah, I mean the UEFA Champions League. It's for me, it's like the ultimately best thing in the world. It's even almost as good as the World Cup. But
Yeah.
the Champions League, the games are just so exciting. The best players in the world, they play against each other, and all the games are so close. You never know who's gonna win. Like the away goal usually decides who's gonna go to the next round. And yeah, the UEFA Champions League is just a joy for me to watch. And I'm actually pretty disappointed I can't watch Champions League right now.
I'm with you, and I understand why. We'll save that for the next segment, but kind of as we wrap down here, look, let's be honest, it wouldn't be a first soccer show segment if we didn't get into the question that everybody asks. It doesn't matter what level of soccer fan you are, Messi or Ronaldo. It's the question everybody asks. I'm posing it to you.
Yeah, I am fans of both, but I still prefer Messi a little bit because I just think his little touch on the ball, how he runs and how he has the ball on his feet, is outstanding. I just think he's. People say Ronaldo is more complete. I mean, maybe yeah, he's a better header or he can shoot a little bit better. I just still think that Messi is more important for a team and can help the team better than Ronaldo. But both are outstanding. But I would pick Messi.
I'm with you. I'm a big Messi guy. But the one question I do want to ask you is because I always ask people this, and you always hear people say the difference between the leagues and the Premier League, La Liga. Maybe the Premier League is a lot more physical than some of the other ones. Ronaldo, we've seen he dominated the Premier League, and he's done pretty well for himself in La Liga. Would Messi have a little bit of a hard time transitioning to the Premier League just because of how physical the league is?
That's a good question. I feel like we just need to experience it. Messi
Yeah.
should go to the Premier League or just switch teams like at least in like 1 or 2 years so he can justify that he is the best player in the world.
And that's really all that's keeping. I mean, and it's interesting because we saw earlier this year around December where there was all the talk about him wanting a move out of Barcelona, maybe to Chelsea or Manchester City. I just don't know. I don't know if I could ever see Messi somewhere else. Now, Luis Enrique, we all understand. I don't think Messi's very happy with him. But if he did go somewhere, I don't know. I think Pep has obviously been his guy. He loves Pep. But I could see him in the Chelsea Blues. I really could.
Yeah, I mean, Lionel Messi playing for Chelsea, I could definitely see him. I just don't know if Messi and Jose Mourinho would go along
Yeah.
that well, would get along that well. But yeah, I'm not sure about that because Messi is a Pep fan. So Pep and Mourinho are not the best friends.
No, they
So
are not.
so I'm not sure if Messi would actually fit to Chelsea as long as Mourinho is the coach there. But yeah, I can see him playing for Chelsea and I can see him being outstanding like he is right now.
Solid, very good first segment. We're going to move into the UEFA Champions League games in the next segment. We little introduction here, getting to know Michael a little bit better, getting to know me a little bit better, breaking the ice. We're going to be right back, so stay with us.